So hello, uh, I need to start recording again because I started recording like 2 minutes ago and I recorded the entire thing and then I realized that my recorder is not on. So hopefully now it's on. As promised, I'm sending you the first vlog for our lecture number 1. The plan of mine is to make like 8 little vlogs and just send them to you guys. It would be like a theoretical part that I would normally cover in class with you. So since we are not able to meet in person, I will do it like this and send it to you, and I hope that you will be able to understand at least that little theoretical part and how to solve some things on an easy way and the other way. Of course, you do not need to use my ways. You're more than welcome to use ways that are explained on slides provided by the lecturer, or you can find your own ways, like internet is just full of the sources that you just can use. But however, these are my ways that I just find easiest, and I hope that you will have a use of them. Anyways, for the lecture 1, there were 3 things that we would cover during it, and I will like to cover them with you again. So that these are the percentages, the absolute values, and the inequalities. So let's start with the percentages. So there are like 2 basic questions that we could be asked on the exam. What is the x percent of a number b? Or b is what percent of number c? So how would we solve it? Let's take a look at the first one. What is 56% of 19? So in that case, in our hypothetical case, when we have a question like what is the x percentage of the number b, we would write x divided by 100 times b, and that would give us the answer. So that's how we're going to solve the first question. 56 over 100 times 19 would give us 10.64, which means that the 56% of the number 19 is 10.64. Okay. The second way, or the second thing we could be asked, would be the number b is what percent of number c? So let's take a look at it. So we would go and write it b times 100, all of that dividing by number c. So what would that mean for us is we would write 17 times 100 all divided by 21, and that would give us 80.95. Okay, which would mean that 17 is 18.95% of the number 21. I should have written percent here. Perfect. Okay, when it comes to the percentages, that would be everything that I want to specifically say about the percentages, because there's just not that many things we could be actually asked. But the one thing that I want to emphasize, and it's really important when it comes to solving word problems, are these formulas. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what are these formulas called. I think it's like a real case or something like that. But never mind. They're really important. And as we see for the first formula, which is this one, for exercises that are including word increase of anything like GDP, BNP, population, number of anything, like we have, I think, and we will see now in the example, there's like population of elephants, like anything, just the increase of something over a period of time, then we would use this formula that I'm going to explain in a second. Also, we have a formula to use when it comes to the decrease. So again, GDP in the population, number of books, elephants, ants, like whatever. The only difference between these two formulas is the sign. So when we have an increase in whatever, the sign will be plus. when we have the decrease in whatever, the sign will be minus. So like the general formula would be A equals P in parentheses 1 plus or minus a percentage over 100 to the power of T. Okay, and now I'm going to explain for each one of these what do they mean, and I figured it's the best way to explain it is to go through the example. So I picked an example which was actually provided to us in one of the slides. It was for session 2 actually. It's a word problem 13, so I didn't come up with this exercise. It's on the slides, you can check it. And the exercise basically says a minimum of 17,086 elephants were residents in the Kruger National Park in South Africa 2015. The population was growing, so it was increasing at 4.2% per year between 1994 and 2015. So assuming that this growth continues, what would be the population of elephants in 2020? So guys, as I already said, we have word growing, which is just exactly as increasing. So in this case, we know that we're going to use our formula with the sign plus. And now what else would we write? So let's take a look at what we have. So a minimum of 17,068 elephants. Let's just highlight. This is the number of the population. Were residents in the Kruger National Park in South Africa in 2015. Okay, let's highlight this part. The population was growing, which means plus, at 4.2% per year. Highlight this. Between 1994 and 2015. Highlight this. Assuming that the growth continues, what is the population of elephants in 2020? So, let's first highlight this as well. Good. And now let's just put everything that we highlighted into the formula. So what do we have? A, our population in 2020. So something that we don't know. So I'm going to write it 8, not 8, A being equal. P would be our initial population. So population at 2015. And the population in 2015 was 17,068 elephants times, in parentheses, 1 plus, because we said it's increase. And then what do we have? Percentage change, which is 4.2%. So 4.2 divided by 100, which is already in our initial formula. And this sign, by the way, this sign is just for powers, because I can't type power on this one. And as I said, power time population in 2020. So we need to figure out what would be the number. So if we started with our initial number, and if the initial number of elephants was 17,000 something in 2015, and we are looking for the population of elephants in 2020, it means that we would actually, for the time, use number 5. So it would be 2020 minus 2015, which will give us 5. And now when we have all written down, we can just simply solve this equation. So what would we write? I'm gonna use my calculator, just like to make life easier. So just plug everything into calculator. So 17,086 times 1 plus 4.2 divided by 100 to the power of 5. And I get the answer something like 20,000.4. So what we can say, because we cannot keep this number, so what is the population of elephants in 2020? 20, we would say that population of the elephant 2020 is 20,988, or you can even write approximately 21,000. Okay, hope this makes sense. When we speak about percentages, there is nothing I would add. There's nothing I would else write. So in case there are any other questions, please call me. And now I would move to inequalities, if you agree. So I'll just make this like separated, and I'm gonna send you this document as well, so that you have it as a just just in case I missed something. So inequalities. Inequalities are very easy. Once again, there's just nothing else that I would add to what you already know. Just something that you need to be cautious about is that when you multiply it by a negative number, any negative number, the sign changes. So what would it look like? If you have negative x to be, let's say, greater than negative c, and you want to get rid of that negatives, because that's what we usually do, you multiply it by a negative number, let's say negative 1 in this case, and the sign changes. Then you will have x being smaller than c. Note that both x and c changed signs, so now they're positive, and the sign of the sign greater changed to the sign less. So let's just do like example quickly, so we can just like rush through it kind of. So I found this one on internet. So 1 over 3x plus 2 over 3 to be smaller or less than 5 over 6x minus 1. So we're just gonna go to our solutions. So first we multiply the entire inequality by 6, just to get rid of these numbers like 3, 3, and 6. So what would we have? 2x plus 4 to be less than 5x minus 6. And now when we want to solve it, when we want to combine them, we would first write minus 5, so it will lose minus 5 on this side, and we would also write minus 4, so that we lose 4 on this side, and the solution for that would be negative 3x being less than negative 10. And now from what I told you, you can just simply divide this or multiply by a negative number, so that you actually get rid of the negatives. So in that case, we would just write all times negative 1. We would have 3x being greater than 10 in this case, and then we would just write that x is greater than 10 over 3. Okay, I think there's nothing more, like there's nothing special about this. It's just, it's just practice. But one thing that I actually want to talk about, and that's why I'm gonna share this with you. It's when it comes to intervals and the notations, I would like you just to take a look at this, so that you kind of know when you're writing these like little brackets, like when it's a small one, when it's the middle one. This photo, I also found it on internet, of course. It shows really nicely, in my opinion, when it should be open, or when it should be like big bracket or a small one. So just please take a look at it. I'm gonna send it to you, and if I'm correct, and I'm correct, we're done with inequalities as well. Of course, in case I skipped something, please contact me and I will explain to you. Sorry. Now we will move to the absolute values. One thing, and the only thing you need to make sure when you're doing absolute values, is that absolute value is always a positive number. Why? So, and what does that actually mean? X plus 1 in this little absolute value sign must be positive. Why? Because absolute value is a distance. And when you're measuring the distance from one place to another, you cannot have the negative number. It must be positive, and it's just that. So if so, yeah. And now I will just show you like a really simple exercise how to solve it. So when you have absolute value, you are basically separating it to two different equations, so you will have like two different answers for x or any number that you're looking for. So when you have x minus 5 in these little absolute value brackets to be equal to 2, you would write it as x minus 5 to be equal to and x minus 5 to be equal to negative 2. And then you would just solve the equation easily. So on one side you would have x being 7 and on another side x being 3. And that's it. And it also applies for more complicated exercises, for more complex ones, just like that. So you divide them on two sides, you have two equations, and then when you put it on the line, then you just kind of see where's the distance, you know. And in our case, which was this one, the distance would be between 3 and 7. That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Now, like the most important part before we go, if there are any questions, please call me. WhatsApp or even my Instagram is there, so you can find me even there. So please, I try to make this as simple as and as quick as I could. So if there are any questions, just please let me know, and I'm really looking forward answering them all. If you need any further clarifications on what I just said in the video, also call me. Otherwise, I wish you fun with the lecture one, and I'm sending you lecture 2 vlog in a short period of time. So yep.